So I applied to UW mainly because of its environmental studies program. I want to dedicate my life to environmental issues, but I know I need to be versed in the social issues that link into it. I join a lot of seminars and find it Saskia Ross. I think he's so cool. I contact him after and talk with him for a while about everything I care about, and he gives me some recs on what and who to check out at UW. That sounds nice, but across the country it's hard to connect, so I apply to a Q Center job as art directives lead and guide the brainstorming stage of projects. They hook me up with a writer for the Daily to talk about anti-trans laws, and I tear up saying I want to be a role model to younger trans kids in this dangerous world. When I finally get to campus, I go wild. I join a mutual aid group called Subvert ED, go to Black Student Union protests, join United Students Against Sweatshops, and volunteered at a native-led urban garden Alisha told me about. I like the garden, so I take a food systems class. I hit it off with a professor who chats with me about death and the book Thinking in Systems. She recommends a summer class on political science, which I take, and I do my final project on why corporations regularly break pollution laws and regulatory agencies just let it slip. I interview 3 agency employees for that paper. But later on in the summer, I'm on this 5-hour bus ride, and I get to talking with the bus driver about her time working in water resource policy and constantly battling agribusiness and her bosses, and it sounds just like my paper. She's smart, she's kind, I love her, and I never see her again. That summer, I finally feel secure enough to start presenting my gender accurately. I signed up as a fig leader, and I really like guiding student conversations by illustrating what they say on the whiteboard. I start to like whiteboards and facilitation in general, so when I notice my mutual aid group is slipping into charity mode, I bring it up and facilitate a conversation to recommit to our values. I applied to this advocacy internship trying to save endangered salmon from dams wrecking their habitat, and start out as their social media person, but eventually take over running the whole group. I also take my first honors class about Afro-diaspora music, which is great because it lets me meet Professor Barrios Miranda, who is like family to me now, and it gets me into the music plus martial art of capoeira, which makes me want to find more black-led spaces in Seattle, which is how I ended up at this cute little coffee shop where behind me I hear someone talking about how they came to realize they were autistic, and I totally relate to it. So I slip them a note introducing myself, we get to texting, and now I help them revise their disability studies lesson plans. That's a lot, and I said it fast, but I did that on purpose. My life feels this fast. I don't plan it out much, I don't focus on specifics or a destination. I just wonder what I could do next while trying to live out the answer. The best way I can explain it is that there's this person I want to exist. They're pragmatically invested in environmental and social justice. They're strong, they're creative, they're kind, they're willing to make what needs to happen. They want to cultivate power that persists without them. And I figure that if I do enough of the things that that person would do, I'll eventually become them. I think that that person would have a job related to indigenous rights and land protection. I think that person might turn their house into a community center in their old age. I think that person would show up at Danny Wu Garden next week to fix the broken wheelbarrows. So I'll aim to do all that and see what I find along the way.